Alright, so welcome to Zoom Pop Galaxy. And on today's episode, we want to tackle the tired, everlasting debate of Aaliyah versus Beyonce. Now, these are two of the most influential women in music, arguably of the past 20 years, possibly. I don't think there's been too many women in the African American community that have made such an impact the way that they have and have had such an influence on pop culture. And that goes for both of them, separately. Now, for me, the reason I would say that it's a very tired debate because these two women, they definitely are different from each other. And at the same time, they could definitely coexist and be at the top with each other. And so, with that being said, Beyonce is an unstoppable force. She's one of the most amazing performers, amazing live singers. Her production value on her shows is just top notch. I mean, there's nobody that really beats her as a performer. And with that kind of mentality that she's always had, even while she was in Destiny's Child, there was not going to be no stopping Beyonce's rise to the top. So I think it's very silly to think that one person could stop somebody like Beyonce from rising to the top. So those sayings that people say of, if Aaliyah was alive, then Beyonce wouldn't be as big as she is or wouldn't be at the top at all. I think that's really bogus because Beyonce's work ethic is like no other. She is a hard worker. I mean, there's nobody like her in the business, really, especially today. There's nobody that's dedicated to their craft and as, as perfectionist as she is. I mean, she describes herself as a perfectionist. She's a Virgo, so that perfectionism that she had, it was going to take her to the top no matter what. So there's not going to ever be any stopping her rise. So the Beyonce you see today, I think pretty much would have been the same Beyonce that you would have saw if Aaliyah was alive. Now, get into baby girl Aaliyah. I think the interesting thing about Aaliyah is the fact that she did have such a short career, a 7-year career. She debuted in 1994 and, unfortunately passed in 2001. But in that short time, she was able to leave a very everlasting legacy, to the point that she's still remembered and still loved and idolized and honored every year, year after year, until this very day. So, to make that sort of an impact with just a 7-year career, there's not many artists that do that. So we have to say that there must be something very special about Aaliyah, and there definitely is. She was a unique artist in my opinion. She was known as the innovator. I mean, if you wanted something different, then you could always expect her to come different. From One in a Million to Are You That Somebody to Try Again to We Need a Resolution, which was such a left field even for her. I think that she just had the creative mind to always keep people wanting more, and that's definitely what she did. She kept people wanting more. She never overplayed herself. She never over promoted. She just always stayed in a subtle lane that garnered her still much success. She sold millions of records while she was alive. So, and another thing is that she had an acting career that was taking off. Like she was gonna be, in my opinion, she was gonna be like a Will Smith, in the music turned actor type scenario. So I just feel like she was gonna have a really big career as an actor, and just some of the roles that she ultimately didn't get to portray, such as The Matrix and Sparkle and Honey and Some Kind of Blue, and who knows what else would have came her way. I think that she was going to be here for a very long time, especially in acting. Definitely, I think that would have taken a lot of time for her. But I also feel like she was very dedicated to her music as well, and the last album was such a innovative album as well. It's very futuristic, but at the same time very classic feeling type of multi-genre album. And there's no doubt in my mind that she would have been able to still stay on top of the game and still stay 10 steps ahead of everybody else, in which she always was. So, with that being said, and just from the other ventures, I mean, she had endorsement deals, clothing line coming. There's so much that she had in store. So for all those people that love to say that, Aaliyah would have fallen off or had a decline or, just would have faded into non-existence, that's very silly to say as well. It's just ultimately, we all know that she had a very bright future. She had an amazing team behind her, from producers to writers, and just her own creative mind herself. She was going to go far. So I think it's very maybe belittling and biased for people to say that Aaliyah wouldn't have been the biggest thing in the world, because in my opinion she would have been. She would have been that girl. She would have been the thing. Like so I really believe that it would have been Aaliyah. She would have made her mark, and it would have been Beyonce who has made her mark. So yeah, I think they brought two different lanes to the game, and they were the best in those two lanes. So, Aaliyah was very smooth, laid back, but very dark and edgy at the same time, and yet angelic at the same time as well. And, Beyonce is, quite the opposite. I mean, they both portray an elegance and class about themselves in the way that they carry themselves, but Beyonce is the fierce, the aggressive performer. She's vocal powerhouse. She's gonna give it to you on stage, whereas Aaliyah was more smooth, had a more smooth, laid back approach to her artistry, and that's why people loved her. And, people love Beyonce because she just gives it to you. She gives it to you on stage and in the song. So that's why, she has such a very passionate fan base, because the talent is just, you can't question it at all. It's unquestionable. She is the top notch. She would go down in history as one of the greatest performers ever. So, that's that. And both women are very legendary in their own right and are icons at this point in the game. Beyonce has been in it 20 years plus at this point, and Aaliyah would have been in it 20 years plus as well. And so, I mean, I can only imagine the things that Aaliyah would have done, from music to movies. But from what we do have, we have enough to know that she was that next level artist. She was always going to stay on top of the game. She was always going to be on to the next thing. And So I don't think she would have ever had a problem with, moving with the times. Just like Beyonce has. Beyonce is able to stay relevant and stay in the know, but at the same time be herself and do her own thing. So I think it's pretty incredible. And I just feel like we should just put away this tired debate of Beyonce versus Aaliyah. I mean, because they're both amazing women. Amazing. They're both beautiful, talented, and have contributed greatly to the music industry and to the entertainment world, period. So I think it's time we put to rest this tired debate and we love these women and respect them for who they are and what they bring to the table and what they brought to the table. So, yeah, right? Beyonce is Beyonce and would have always been Beyonce, no matter what. Aaliyah was Aaliyah, and she was going to always be Aaliyah, baby girl, no matter what. So, I mean, it would have been great. If you look at the 90s had so many women at the top. You had Whitney Houston, you had Mariah Carey, you had Janet Jackson, so many women, Toni Braxton, then you had the Aaliyah and Brandy and Monica and just so many people, Mary J. Blige, just so many different women coexisted together. And I do feel like it was very much so possible. I mean, you see it today with Rihanna and Beyonce. They are able to both be very successful and be considered the top women in the game. And I feel like it would have been no different with Aaliyah maybe being in the third part of that trio. The Aaliyah, Rihanna, and Beyonce trio. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm overstepping and just saying too much, but yeah, for sure. Aaliyah and Beyonce definitely could have coexisted and just given the world even more greatness to admire. So I want to put away this tired debate finally. And thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.